If you've been watching the headlines, you're probably wondering what's actually going on in the Jacksonville housing market right now. Are prices going up or are we coming down? Are we in a buyer's market? And should you wait or jump in? In this video, I'm going to break down the most recent market update report and why this could quietly be one of the most buyer-friendly shifts we've seen in the last couple of years. From inventory trends and pricing shifts to how long homes are sitting and what sellers are actually walking away with, I'll walk you through the exact data and what it really means if you're thinking of buying, selling, or investing in Jacksonville right now. My name's Steven. I'm a real estate advisor here in Northeast Florida, and every month I break down the numbers so you can make smarter, more confident decisions in this market without getting lost in the noise. Now, what do you say we jump into the video? Welcome to the Jacksonville housing market update for August 2025. If you've been wanting to know whether now is the time to buy, sell, or wait, this video is for you as we're going to be breaking it all down. And in this market update report, we're going to be focusing solely on single-family homes in the counties of St. Johns County, Nassau County, and of course, Duval County. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so what we'll cover. These will be the 4 key indicators that we'll be taking a look at to give us a clearer picture as to where the market is at and also where it is heading. So the first one we'll be taking a look at is inventory. Now, inventory is the current available residential properties actively listed for sale in the Jacksonville real estate market. Then after that, we have median home price. The median price is the midpoint of all homes sold, meaning half of the homes sold for more and then half of the homes sold for less. Then after that, we have days on market. The days on market is the number of days a home is actively listed for sale before it goes under contract. And then last but not least, we have closed sales. Now, closed sales is residential properties that have been sold and completed the entire transaction process. All the numbers in this market report comes directly from Real MLS, which is the official MLS for Northeast Florida. All right, so first up, we have active inventory. Now, this will show us all the single-family residential homes currently available for sale on the market right now. And this will be a key supply and demand indicator. As of July 2025, our active inventory supply is at 7,179. 6 months ago, in February 2025, this number was at 6,536. And then a year from this time last year, in July 2024, this number was at 6,514, which is a 10% increase compared to last year. That's a pretty big increase. And looking at this chart right here, we can see that we did see a drop in active inventory supply towards the end of last year. But ever since then, we've just seen a steady, constant uptick in supply up until, May, June, where active inventory supply are starting to stabilize around that 7,200 to 7,000 range. And so what this shows us is that some homes just aren't selling. Instead of lowering the price to meet the market, some sellers are even just pulling their listing altogether. Now, if you're a buyer, on the other hand, this time of the year might actually work in your favor, as a lot of people have already purchased their homes in the summer and are settling in to get ready as school starts. And so right now, if you are looking to buy, you do have less competition. Moving on, we have median home price. Now, the median home price means half of the homes sold for more and half of the homes sold for less. So when we look at the median sales price for July 2025, we're holding steady right at $400,000. This remains unchanged 6 months ago in February 2025, where it was also $400,000. However, this time around last year, we were just a little bit over $418,000. Comparing this year to this time around last year, we are at a 4.4% decrease. So what does this mean? This tells us that the market has cooled a bit from last year's highs, and buyers aren't quite stretching as far as they used to. However, prices are beginning to stabilize just a little bit, and we're starting to see sellers adjust to meet where the buyers are at. This could be the new normal for now, unless mortgage rates drop significantly or inventory drops dramatically. This price range for the next few months. All right, now let's take a look at days on market, which means how long homes are currently sitting on the market before they go under contract. As of July 2025, the median days on market is 38. Now, this is a slight increase compared to last year, where it was 33 days on market. So that's about a 15% increase from last year, but still down from the peak where we saw back in March of this year, where on average it took around 51 days for a home to sell. So what does that tell us exactly? Well, it shows us that properties are still moving. They're just not flying off the shelves like they did a few years ago. Buyers today are more selective, and homes that are overpriced or not presented well are taking a little bit longer to sell. But in general, we're seeing a healthy pace. Homes that are priced right and show well are still getting attention. And then we have closed sales. These are homes that completed the entire transaction process and actually ended up selling. This will show the actual buyer activity. As of July 2025, closed sales volume was at 1,570. And this time around last year, the closed sales volume was 1,650. So compared to last year, this isn't a massive drop, just a 4.8% decline compared to last summer. However, it is a big improvement compared to the beginning of this year, where we hit in February 2025, we hit 1,126 in closed sales volume, with the lowest being in January, which was where we were hovering right at 1,000 in closed sales volume. We're beginning to see a market start to stabilize a little bit more, but not overly competitive. Buyer demand is still present, just a lot more selective. Homes that check the right boxes are still selling well. However, on the other hand, homes that are overpriced are beginning to sit on the market for much longer, some being pulled from the market entirely. Looking ahead, as we move out of summer and into the early fall, we may start to see sales gradually taper off, which is pretty normal seasonally. But as I mentioned earlier, unless we see a major shift in rates, I do expect us to be in this balanced to slightly soft market for the next few months. Now let's take a look at some other key factors. So first up, we have months of inventory. Now, our months of inventory is 4.6. Now, this means that if no more new homes were to be listed for sale, it would take 4.6 months to sell all of our current listings. List price received, we're at 96.9%. So on average, buyers are receiving around a 3% discount from the list price. New listings were at 2,175. Now, that's a decent number for this time of year, as sellers are trying to get their homes listed before the fall slowdown. And then we have pending listings, meaning how many homes went under contract this month, and that number is 1,253. This shows demand is still present, however, just slightly soft. And then we have sold per square feet. Right now we are at $214 sold per square feet. Now let's take a quick glance at the mortgage rates. So the 30-year mortgage rate as of July 2025, we're sitting around 6.7%. In February 2025, this number was at 6.8%. And then last year, we were at 6.9%. So we've seen a very slow and gradual downward movement as far as the mortgage rates. Now, rates are still historically high compared to the 3 to 4% range we got used to during the pandemic years. And for many buyers, especially first-time buyers, 6.7% definitely stings when it comes to monthly payments. Now, depending on the Fed and inflation data, we could see the rates head to the mid to low sixes heading into the fall and winter seasons. And that would be a welcome shift for buyers who've been waiting on the sidelines. So what does this mean if you're a buyer right now? Well, first of all, you've got options, lots of them, and inventory levels are holding fairly steady, and sellers are beginning to realize they need to be more flexible if they want to get their home sold. And that puts buyers in a much better negotiating position than they were, say, 3 years ago. On top of that, we're in a seasonal lull. Families are wrapping up their summer plans, kids are back in school, and that means fewer active buyers out shopping, which means less competition for you. So if you're thinking about making a move, this could actually be one of the better windows to buy. And if you're a seller, the landscape may be a little different than what you may be used to. Homes are still selling, but the ones that move are the ones that are priced right and look great. Gone are the days of putting a home on the market and receiving multiple offers within 48 hours. So price strategically. Work with someone who knows how to interpret local comps and market trends, and not just to throw a number out there. And presentation matters more than ever, whether that being professional photos, staging, small touch-ups. These things do add up. And most importantly, ask yourself, why do you want to sell? If you're just unsure or just testing the market, it might be worth sitting down and reevaluating your timing. All right, this concludes this month's market update report. Now, if you have any questions, or if you think about buying, selling, investing, or relocating to the Northeast Florida region, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd love to help however I can. There is definitely a lot of great opportunities out there right now. So let's figure out exactly what it is you would like to do, and then we can chat about the next steps we can take to get that done, whether that is buying or selling. Here is my contact info. Just shoot me a text or you can schedule a call. The link will be in the description down below. I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you on the next one.